All right, let's talk about the psychology of wealth. I'm going to share 9 simple daily tricks that can seriously reshape your financial future. Let's jump right in. So, what if the key to wealth wasn't really in your wallet, but in your mind? Seriously, what if the single biggest thing holding you back isn't your income, but just your perspective? We're going to dive into how a simple mental shift is actually the real first step to building wealth that lasts. Okay, here's the game plan. First, we'll talk about something called the mindset gap. Then, we'll break down a 3-pillar solution: reframing your thoughts, mastering your actions, and expanding your vision. And we'll wrap up by making it all super practical with stuff you can start doing today. So, let's talk about this mindset gap. What is it? Well, it's basically all those invisible beliefs we have that are quietly sabotaging our success. You know the ones, thinking, oh, I'm just not a numbers person, or you have to be born rich to ever get ahead. It's like this internal script that's running in the background, telling us how to act with money, and most of the time, we don't even know it's there. So how do we fix that? How do we bridge that gap? We're going to use this simple 3-step system. Think of it like a journey, right? First, you change how you see the world. Second, you change what you do in it. And finally, you change where you're going. Let's kick things off with that first foundational pillar. All right, pillar 1, reframe your thinking. This is huge because before you can ever change your habits, you've got to change how you think. These first 3 tricks are pretty much the foundation for everything else. So here are the 3 core shifts we're talking about. First, adopting an abundance mindset, this idea that there's plenty to go around. Second, cultivating a growth mindset, knowing that you can get smarter and better with this stuff. And finally, learning to focus on long-term value, not just the price you see right now. And look at the difference here, it's night and day. A scarcity mindset sees wealth like a fixed pie. If you get a bigger slice, that means I get a smaller one. It's a zero-sum game and it breeds fear. But an abundance mindset, it knows you can just bake more pies. It sees opportunities for growth and collaboration everywhere. This quote from Henry Ford, it just nails the growth mindset, doesn't it? It's all about believing that your financial smarts aren't set in stone. You're not just bad with money. That's a story, a label. The truth is, you can learn, you can adapt, you can get better. And honestly, believing this is non-negotiable if you're serious about building wealth. And that brings us to our 3rd big mental shift. See, most of us are trained to ask one question: how much does this cost? But people with a wealth mindset, they ask a totally different question. They ask, what is this worth? It's a game changer. They look right past the price tag to see the real long-term value of something. And that could be a stock, a new piece of software, or even a book. Okay, pillar 2 is up. We've worked on reframing our thinking. Now it's time to master our actions. This is where the rubber meets the road, you know? We're turning those new mindsets into actual real-world habits. So our next 3 tricks are all about discipline and building smart systems. First, we've got delayed gratification, which is just a fancy way of saying resist that urge for an instant reward. Second, we're going to automate our finances so they pretty much run themselves. And third, and this one is so important, we're going to invest in our number 1 asset, which is you. Think of delayed gratification like a muscle. Seriously, the more you use it, the stronger it gets. It's about saying no to some small, easy pleasure right now to get a massive reward down the road. Let's make it real. That daily $5 coffee, if you invested that money instead, over 30 years, it could grow to over $100,000. That's insane, right? That's the power of choosing later over now. I absolutely love this thermostat analogy. Think about it. You don't stand there all day messing with your thermostat, right? You just set the temperature you want, and you let the system do its thing. You should do the exact same thing with your money. Automate your savings, automate your investments, automate your bills. It takes willpower and all that emotion right out of the equation. It makes being smart with money, well, effortless. Let me ask you a question, and be honest with yourself. When was the last time you actually invested in yourself? In a new skill? A book? A course? Because your ability to earn more money is directly tied to what you know and what you can do. Buying a book or taking a course isn't an expense. It is, hands down, the highest return investment you can possibly make. And that brings us to our final pillar, expanding your vision. So your mindset is right, your habits are on autopilot. Now it's time to think bigger. It's time to start playing the long game, but with a real strategy. Our last 3 tricks are all about smart, strategic growth. We're talking about taking calculated risks, not just wild guesses. We're talking about developing multiple streams of income so you're not putting all your eggs in one basket. And finally, building a powerful network that can open doors you didn't even know existed. Okay, this chart is super important. The goal here is not to avoid risk altogether. That's just playing it way too safe. And it's definitely not about blind gambling either. The real sweet spot where all the growth happens is in that third column, calculated risk. That just means you do your homework, you understand the pros and cons, and then you make a smart, informed decision to go for it. You know, relying on just one paycheck is kind of like trying to sit on a one-legged stool. It's just wobbly, right? It's not stable. That's why having multiple streams of income is so critical. You have your main job, sure, but then you add a side hustle, you have some investments working for you. All of a sudden, you've built this much stronger, more resilient financial base that can actually handle it if life throws a curveball. And last but not least, you've heard this one before, your network is your net worth. And it's so true. But listen, this isn't about collecting a bunch of names on LinkedIn. It's about building real, genuine relationships where you're both learning and providing value. Because trust me, one conversation with the right person at the right time can unlock opportunities that money just can't buy. Okay, so we've gone through all 9 tricks across our 3 pillars. That's a lot of information. But you know what? Information is totally useless without action. So the big question is, how do you actually start doing this stuff? Let's make it super simple. So here are 3 things you can do, like right now. I'm serious. First, the very next time you buy something, just pause for a second and ask yourself, am I thinking about the price or am I thinking about the value? Second, sometime this week, just set up one automatic transfer, even if it's just $10 into a savings account. Just do it. And third, today, spend 15 minutes learning something new. That's it. It's these small, consistent steps that build incredible momentum over time. And really, that's what this all comes down to. Your financial story, it's being written every single day. Every thought, every decision, every action, it's another sentence in that story. So the only question left is, what will tomorrow's chapter say?